The 2001 season went reasonably well for us with 3 victories right in the early part of the year. But it came down to the last round, our home event, which of course we're very confident about. And all we had to do was beat Richard Burns and Tommy Macklin, that was it. We didn't have to win, we just had to beat them to gain the points to win the championship. And it started reasonably well with the Super Special in Cardiff Bay. We were fastest on that stage, quite a few seconds up on Tommy and about 2.5 up on Richard. So yeah, it started well. And then we left Cardiff early the next morning, headed up to Pontypridd for a service, and then went to Mountain Ash and jumped into stage St Gwynno. And this St Gwynno stage was a stage that we'd used before, but I think this bit of onboard is probably one of the most famous bits of onboard you can get, and it's extremely spectacular in terms of commitment and speed. But we arrived there for a stage start at 8:26 in the morning, so our thought process was that we were going to catch everybody more or less half asleep, and we were going to push really hard and try and gain the lead. And you know, this is exactly what we're going to look at now and give you some idea of what's happening during that stage. Now, Colin's pace notes is very much based on gears, and first is very rarely used, but second is second gear, third gear, 4 is fourth gear, 5 is fifth gear, and then of course 6 is flat out. Now at the end of the day, 6 could be a flat out corner if you're not in that gear. There's variations of slow, which is a heavy brake, minus, which is just a bit of a dab on a brake, and plus, which means it's flat out in that gear. So that gives you some idea of where to go to. Now after the first fast section, we've got a very spectacular right-hand corner there. And this is now Colin just warming up the tyres, warming up everything, and in typical McRae fashion, he's very committed, very broadside, and this is why people loved Colin McRae so much. Now at the end of the day, it's not ultimate commitment, but until everything starts falling into place, then he starts to really motor on later in the stage.
70, long 3 right, don't cut, into 4 left, flat opens, don't cut, 100, long 6 right, and crest, and 6 left, cut, into 6 right, 70, 6 right, and left, and 6 right over crest, into 6.
I always enjoy this piece here, with a spectator really not knowing exactly where to stand and take a picture. You look at it, you can imagine him jumping out of the way there. The one thing you always notice, Colin McRae's sideways into the corner, but he's always, wherever possible, very straight on the exit, just maximising the exit speeds from the corner. We're coming up to a section here which is quite exciting, and he's pushing quite hard. A couple of square junctions here. See, very sideways into that junction, very square out. Now here, this road is particularly narrow, and it was rutted in terms of gravel. You can see that the clean line in the centre is one thing, with heavy gravel in the centre. Colin's car control is phenomenal. If you watch this bit of a tank slapper up here, it takes a lot of commitment there to control this car. Cutting a few corners here, it's not a problem. He's not shy, Colin McRae, you've got to say that. On fast or slow corners, the commitment is always to the max. A wonderful car control. You had to, when you co-drove for him, you just had to shut out the sideways actions, the sideways movements. You know, you knew that it was all under control. for the greater majority of the time anyway, but it's, you know, his car control was phenomenal. It just allowed me to concentrate on reading the pace notes and getting the delivery that was just right. This is now where it gets really interesting, because the speed now is really picking up. We're out of the slower section of the stage, and now it's mostly higher speed stuff, where commitment and carrying the speed through all of these corners is really important to get that best stage time. That's a lovely slide into that very straight exit. Watch this 6 over a crest up here. Look at this for commitment on a narrow road.
Into 6 right, minus opens. And 6 left over crest, cut 100. 6 right into clear slow, 4 left, half cut.
A lot of spectators in this area.
4 right plus, opens. And 6 left, big cut. And 4 right plus. And 4 right. And 6 left, cut 30. 6 right. Into 6 left. Into clear 6 right over long crest and turn slow 3 left.
Big sideways chuck here. Masses of spectators.
Into 6 left.
Definitely
Into 6
a
right.
crowd pleaser was Colin
Into
McRae.
6 right. Cut.
Now you're coming up to a very quick section here. You just watch this
6 left.
gate post coming up on this junction
Right
on
into
the
crest and 6
on my
right,
side.
cut. And left and 5 right over crest. 30,
Woof.
6 right over crest.
That was really close to that
5
post.
cut.
I'll just keep quiet now. Remember, 6 is flat out, minus is a lift,
50.
but you listen to the engine and the commitment through here.
Crest. And long 6 left opens. Into 6 crest. Into 6 left. And 6 left over crest. Into 6 right. And 6 left over crest opens 70. 6 crest 50. 6 right over crest cut. Into 6 left over crest don't cut. And 6 right 50. 6 crest into 6 right. And 6 crest 50. 6 right cut, crest keep right and 6 left, 50. 6 left opens, 35 right over crest line. And 6 right into 6 right cut. And crest into crest and long 6 left. Into 6 left, 70. 5 right, cut and 3 left plus tightens. And 3 right opens, don't cut. 30. 6 crest into 5 right. Okay.
Tremendous car control and such commitment, and it was such a pleasure to sit with the guy. But it did work. We were fastest on the stage, but only just from, I think, Marcus Gwynno and Didier Auriol in the Peugeot, and that car was really strong at that time. But we took a fair few seconds out of Richard Burns, so we were on schedule for our World Championship.